You dare to walk this path with me? One misstep, and we fall to our ruin. So take your first step. It's now or never!
What is up, YouTube? It's RSMario here, bringing you another Fire Emblem Three Houses video. And this one is kind of a tumultuous video, because I've been trying to get this video out for a while, and it got delayed because I wanted to get the anime stuff out first, because that was already late, so that pushed this video back. And then they dropped a bunch of new classes, you know what I'm saying? So of course that pushed the video back even more. When I finally got the video done, the audio was corrupted. So I was like, you know what? Screwing up my deadline, life. So I decided to go ahead and just redo the entire video. I'm not gonna be on camera for this one because, again, I didn't set up all the gear, because I wanted to kind of like get this video out by the weekend so that I could focus on the other videos for next week. Because this was supposed to be out like Thursday. This is supposed to be out like Thursday, so you know. But yeah. So I'm gonna go over all of the known pre-release classes for Fire Emblem Three Houses, including the new ones that just got dropped in the last couple of days. I'll also be giving you the proficiencies and the the suggested rank that you need to be to get to those classes, as well as the abilities that those classes will have. Now of course not all the classes have abilities announced, like the new ones like Sniper, Warrior, Assassin, and Swordmaster have not announced most of their specifics yet, so I won't be talking about that. But I shall do the rest of them. Lego! Alright, so the initial classes are, of course, Commoner and Noble. There's nothing really specific about these two. It's just Commoner and Noble. So, of course, Commoner is pretty self-explanatory. They're just, common folk. They're like the regular niggas of Folding. Just regular folk. And of course, nobles are, they're nobles. They're rich people. Usually, they have a bloodline, with knights or kings or lords or saints, and they also hold crests. Both of these classes can use magic. The beginner classes are the classes you get once you hit level 5. The first one being Myrmidon. So Myrmidon is kind of a staple of Fire Emblem. It's been in Fire Emblem pretty much. It's been in every Fire Emblem game that I've played pretty much, and I think it's been around in pretty much every Fire Emblem game. I haven't played them all, but from most of the Fire Emblem games I know of have had the Myrmidon class in some state. But yeah, it's back in Three Houses. Of course, its proficiency is with the sword. And of course, there is no ability because none of the beginner classes have abilities. And it's recommended that you have at least a D rank in sword to get to this class. So next one is Soldier. So Soldier is the lance kind of like generic class of the game. So this is like once you break out of Commoner or Noble, if you're going into Lance, if you're a Lance user or you're trying to specialize in using the lance, the Soldier is your way to go. There's no ability, it's proficient in the lance, and you need a D rank or at least a D rank in lance in order to get to this class. So the fighter, is essentially the axe, a variant of the Soldier and the Myrmidon. Of course, the growths are different, but again, like this is if you're looking to specialize in axes, fighter is where you're going to go after you get out of the initial classes. Of course, fighter is also the class, the first class that allows you to use bows, and of course use brawling, which is going to be gauntlets. So which is awesome, which means there's going to be a couple of these guys in my squad soon as they hit level 5. Of course, yeah, you're proficient in axes, bows, and fighting, which makes it a very versatile class. you need to be at least a D rank in one of these three. And of course, our last beginning class is the monk. So of course, they had to have a magic class here. And again, this class is proficient in reason and faith. So it uses white magic and I believe black and dark magic. I don't know if you can not use dark magic until you get to the higher classes or what, but I'm thinking you'll definitely be able to use black magic and white magic. It has no abilities like the rest of the basic classes, and you need to be at least a rank D in reason or faith to get to this class. Intermediate classes. So these are the classes you get once you hit level 10. So of course, Lord is the first big intermediate class. This is for house leaders only. So this will be the class for like Edgelgard, Claude, or Dimitri, which is why it's proficient in sword, lances, and authority, which kind of screws over Claude because he's a bow specialist. The ability is charisma, so adjacent allies deal +3 damage to enemies. So yeah, now your classes finally start getting abilities once they hit the intermediate class. Of course, it's recommended that you have at least a D+ rank in sword and or a C+ in authority to get to this class. The mercenary or the merc is the upgrade or like the next level of like swordsman or the fighter. I mean the Myrmidon or fighter class. Of course, they specialize in axes or swords. It's recommended that you have a C rank in sword to get to this class, and this class has yet no ability, or at least no known ability, which is weird because it's an intermediate class. Again, we don't know all the abilities, so again, this could be something that is announced later or something that we'll find out once we get the game. Thief. Okay, so Thief is kind of another one of these staple classes that are in like pretty much every Fire Emblem game. Of course, with Thief, just like in Fates before it, it specializes in bows and the sword. So you need to be at least a C rank in sword to get to this class, which is kind of interesting that you don't really need to be a C rank in bows. So that's pretty interesting. I guess Claude will have to be a lord, you know what I'm saying, to get that rank up to C so he can start using bows again. They get 2 abilities. One of them is, of course, steal, which is pretty self-explanatory. You steal a non-weapon item from an enemy that has less speed. And lock touch is basically you're able to open chests and doors without a key, unless you're Ash, and then you can do that on your own because that's your personal ability, essentially. So yeah, the Knight is our big heavy unit. So he's the guy that you see. He's the big heavy with the shield and the axe. He's the guy who's gonna be like your general-like units in the game. He's proficient in axe, lance, and of course heavy armor. So he's the first class where we see heavy armor as a thing. It's recommended that you have a C in axe or a D in heavy armor before you use this class. I'm not sure how you would get a D in heavy armor since no other class before this uses heavy armor. I guess you're gonna have to like study in that for a while. It has no known abilities just yet. So like the Merc, its ability is probably going to get announced later. Cavalier. So Cavalier, we finally get to some horseback units. So all that authority that you've been building up, you can get the horseback and you can get like gambits and stuff going with the Cavaliers. You need to be proficient in sword, lance, or riding. And you need at least a C rank in lance or a D rank in riding, which seems kind of weird. I mean, because what if you're like that you need to be better at lances than you do at riding to be a cavalier? I mean, because what if you're just a garbage horseback rider, but you're really good with lances? Like, that would be pretty weird. Like, oh yeah, he's really good with that lance, but He's a garbage horseback rider. Just stay out of his way. You don't want to get run over. But Cavalier is their ability is move again, which basically means that after performing an action, the user can use their leftover movement. So essentially, like, say you do an attack, you do your attack, and then if you have movement left over, you can just go ahead and expend the rest of your movement. So it's really good for hit and run attacks. Brigand! So the Brigand is essentially going to be one of my favorite classes in this game because it is the upgrade to the fighter. It's proficient in axes and fighting, which is, or brawling, I think is the new name for it now. You need to be at least a C rank in axe to get to this class. And as of yet, it has no ability, which sucks because, I mean, hopefully it gets something like bare knuckle battle or something, because, I mean, this is one of the few, like, gauntlet based classes where females can use it. So, I mean, all the other ones are male only. So it's kind of like, you know, you don't get no gauntlet based abilities unless they're going to be with this class. So I hope this class does get a gauntlet-based ability. So the Archer. So we finally get to the Archer. Like, it's kind of crazy that the Archer is not a beginning class, and it's an intermediate class. But of course, Archers are proficient in bows and the sword. So all your thieves, all that knowledge you got from being a thief is going to be put to handy. Of course, you get it's recommended that you have at least a C rank in bows to get to this class, and the ability is bow range +1. So it increases the maximum attack range by 1 when a bow is equipped. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this video right here because technically I did all the classes, and it came up to be about 26 minutes long. So I didn't want to do an extra long video like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the advanced classes and the rest of the intermediate classes in a video tomorrow. So I hope you, of course, like, comment, subscribe, share with your Fire Emblem loving friends, and as always, keep it real.